Assessing and teaching reading through phonological awareness, phonics, and word recognition. As classroom teachers, we chose to do this focus on assessing and teaching phonological awareness, phonics, and word recognition as an opportunity to strengthen our knowledge as we want our students to be effective and efficient readers. And as this is a huge foundational skill for literacy, we continue to realize through our research that the importance of assessing is that we have to adjust our curriculum to meet our needs. We look forward to sharing some of our research with you, as well as thinking intentionally about ways that we can better our instruction. We wanted to start our presentation off with the link between assessment and instruction. This is an important quiz that we found from Pearson's Ames Web Plus to really reflect on the work that we're already doing in our schools and our classrooms in order to better our instruction. So before we share some of our research, we would like to use these questions to really take the time and opportunity to reflect on what we're already doing and ways that we can improve our assessments and instructions. This will also guide our research, as these are really important questions as we share about phonological awareness, phonics, and word recognition. So as we ask the questions, please take a moment for yourself to think about how these are impacting your classroom teaching. Question number 1. How often do you measure overall student performance relative to grade level and year-end expectations throughout the school year? Question number 2. How quickly can your teachers, or if you're the classroom teachers, you apply insights from assessments to students' instructional plans? Question number 3. Do you have a multi-tiered system for support and intervention? Question number 4. How consistently do you monitor progress through assessments of students who need the most support? And question number 5. Do your benchmarking assessments indicate progress towards end of the year goals? We hope this was a great opportunity for you to think about some of the things that we're going to be talking about and the way that we can continue to assess and help it impact our instruction. You can take the whole quiz on the link underneath the YouTube message in our details to continue and to learn a little bit more about assessment and instruction. Go.
Phonological awareness in phonics. As we stated in the previous slides, phonological awareness and phonics are important foundational skills that students must acquire to become efficient readers. However, a lot of times instructors combine phonological awareness and phonics and we think of it as one skill, but these are two completely different skills that a student must acquire. Phonological awareness has 5 major stages: alliteration, segmentation, onset of rhyme, and lastly, phonemes. Students kind of move through the phases. Once they're able to do segmentation, they move into onset and rhyme, and it's all building up to that ability to break sounds into individual sound pairs. So phonological awareness is just the student's ability to identify and manipulate different pairs of oral language. And once they reach that final stage of phonemes, that's when phonics takes place. So phonics is just basically the student's ability to isolate sounds into those individual phonemes. So assessments for phonological awareness and phonics will actually look a bit different because remember, phonological awareness is only with oral language and phonics is when we'll start playing onto words. Phonological awareness and phonics have many assessments that teachers can implement in order to test the student's ability and readiness in these stages. So I've attached an example of the Yopp-Singer assessment. This is very familiar in K through 1 in most grades, and I attached a video so you can watch along, and there's also reflection questions available while you're watching the slide. So as you're watching the video, I want you to pay close attention to the way the instructor is asking the student to break apart those sounds, and she's actually segmenting the word pairs as the student goes along. Now, this assessment doesn't have a ceiling or a basal, so students are able to show exactly what they can do with each word that they're given. Sometimes you'll realize that students are able to break apart individual sounds, but then they start to get a little confused when diphthongs and like word blends come into place. And this is assessment would be solely for phonological awareness. As I stated before, phonics would be the play on of the actual words, but this assessment will allow you to understand the student's overall readiness with the alphabetical principle, and it does help us understand the student underlying written language and what they are developing, and this will help them in the long run when they become readers and they use these same skills for decoding.
Now let's look at word recognition. Word recognition is able to recognize words quickly or with a quick glance. In early childhood classrooms, this also might include letter recognition. Word recognition is important for all of our students as they become fluent and efficient and effective readers. There are many different kinds of assessments that we can look at for word recognition. Some might just include looking at high frequency sight words. You might want to highlight some sight words as your students read an article, or just having your students read from a vocabulary list. A summative assessment for word recognition is something like the WRT, the word. It's a test of word recognition. Its goal is to accurately make sure your children can recognize words without having a word supported in a reading passage. Word recognition continues to be a really big piece of literacy as students in younger ages build words that they see often, like is, in, or the. And as they get older, it might be words that are easier to recognize, that words like people and place and things. As we look at word recognition, we look at different kind of strategies. Reading Rocket has an article called Types of Informal Classroom-Based Assessments. This article gave us many different ways that we can use both teaching strategies and teaching tips for word recognition and for phonemic awareness. We want to begin with word recognition. You can take a look at these 7 different ideas that the article provides and think about how you can use one of these in your own classroom. So just take a moment to look through these, and then we're going to zoom in on one of them. So let's take a look at the first one. During the first one, it talks about looking at word recognition through newly introduced sound letter relations. This often can be when a student has already learned the TH or WH sounds. In kindergarten, in my classroom this month, we're looking at WH sounds of words like why, what, and where. Using these as a tool for students for knowing the WH sound and also connecting them with words that they've already learned. Word recognition continues to be an important aspect of reading, and also making sure that we're continually assessing students' word recognition throughout the school year. Now let's look at teaching strategies for phonemic awareness. This article, Types of Informal Classroom-Based Assessment, continues to provide different ways that we could instruct for strategies for phonemic awareness. Take a moment to look at 4 of these different ideas, and we will zoom in on one of these. These 4 give a really great ideas and ways that we can continue to build tools in our own classrooms. But let's take a look at number 4. For students who are having difficulty Sequencing instruction might be a great way to help build that phonemic awareness. When we start to think about continuous sounds that are easier to hear and blend, students may understand how to then stretch out and connect these letter sounds in order to make them a real word. This example has the word Sam. And rather than separating them, it really begins to hear each individual sound. This is a great strategy to use in our classrooms for phonemic awareness, but it also can help students who are struggling in older grades.
Lastly, we just want to draw your attention to the idea of effective, efficient reading. So this goes back to our abstract and why assessing and teaching reading with a focus on phonological awareness, phonics, and word recognition matters. These are the foundational skills that a student must acquire in order to be an effective, efficient reader, and that's every teacher's goal with instruction in these areas. So there's this picture shows 5 pillars. Kind of reminds me of the 5 pillars of literacy. It's no coincidence that there's also 5 stages in phonological awareness. This number 5 appears often because students have to obtain the skills of comprehension, vocabulary, fluency, decoding, and phonological awareness in order to be able to read effectively. Now, in younger grades, it's easy to see or assess if a student is having difficulties in these areas because they're just working with isolating sounds and word pairs. But as a child gets older, they use these same skills for decoding. So if a student is not efficient in phonological awareness, phonics, or word recognition, they will have a hard time decoding words, which means that they will also struggle with comprehension. So as a teacher, we have to make sure we're assessing these students and we're reaching and teaching those students in need. And we'll strengthen our skills as classroom teachers, and we'll also strengthen the skills of our students as well. We have attached references, but they're also really good resources. I know most of us are teaching. We can use these links, and a lot of the things we implemented in this PowerPoint, you can use it to help assess students' phonological awareness, phonics, and word recognition. Me and Johnny want to thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions, feel free to message us or leave a question in the discussion, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks.